Here are today's episode highlights.
Comadritas!
Season 2!
Salud!
We're back!
We are back. We are, I would like to say live, but we're not live because it's a podcast, but we are alive.
Yes.
Thank God.
Yes.
And this is season 2.
It's no surprise that the year started on a Wednesday, led by Thursday and Friday, which means a WTF, right?
That's right. Literally, what the
That's
Yes.
right. It's
Yes.
been
Just
it's
say
been
it,
an
Archie.
interesting-
Thanks to technology and phones, we were able to check in on each other. But how are we feeling today? And how did it impact you and change your life?
I was worried about Janet. All those people probably thought, oh, we're fine. We're
exactly.
safe. So when the fire hit Studio City that Wednesday night, I was not prepared at all until my neighbors are like, are you leaving? Are you staying? And I'm like, leaving? Stay? Wait, what? Like, I
happening?
it didn't even occur to me.
Then I went for the photo albums.
Yes.
And that's when I realized how many goddamn photo albums
I know.
I own. And let me tell you.
on metal. It was painted.
¿Qué dice
And it's
Milagros?
con fe y amor damos gracias a oración a la Virgen de San Juan de los Lagos. So it's a prayer to la Virgen de San Juan de los Lagos for a milagro that was given it.
I'm about to celebrate 50, and I cannot have two of my friends in my celebration because guess what? They're scared to drive. Nobody's promised tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, and that is absolutely true. Nobody's promised tomorrow. And that is why today
Yes.
we're also celebrating our birthdays coming up.
Yes.
Because our birthdays are literally around the corner, Janet.
You're halfway.
Yeah.
This is called midlife, right?
Yes.
Talk to me. I'm there already.
Come
I'm
on.
past the 50.
We need to talk in that episode.
So
50 y qué.
I'm telling you, there's so much more in store for you.
Wisdom
Right?
and wrinkles, baby. That's our
Wisdom
club.
and
right.
With
That's
grace,
You know
with
what?
pride.
We're going to make this a good year. I
Yes.
know
We
it started
are.
out very rocky.
We wanted to end already? No,
But
we don't
no.
want it to end.
No.
My new year starts
No.
February 1st.
Yes,
so-
my birthday.
Right?
Hey girl, welcome. We've been waiting for you.
Bienvenida. We are four comadres, and we are so excited to have you here. I am Argelia.
I am Mindy.
I am Diana.
And I'm Janet.
This is Comadres Unfiltered. Salud!
We're back!
Yeah.
We're back! Woo! Comadre!
Hey, comadrita!
Season 2.
Salud.
We're back!
We are back. We are, I would like to say live, but we're not live because it's a podcast, but we are alive.
Yes.
Thank God.
Yes.
And this is season 2.
Season 2.
Yes.
We're so happy to be back, yeah?
Our first toast.
gosh.
Our first toast, comadrita.
Yes.
Yes.
Híjole, mano.
To the new
After a
year.
much needed hiatus, right? Because we needed that break as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was that a break?
Was
And
that a break?
What kind of a break was
the
that?
unknown break that we needed of January that
Was that a-
lasted 95 days.
Was that a
Seriously.
dream? Was that a deja vu? Was that what the fuck? Was that?
Was that a nightmare? Seriously.
What was that? Sorry, perdónenme, pero I
Yes.
just I don't
What
think
the
I'm the
fuck
only
was
one.
that?
Like,
Oh, yeah.
I feel like today we need to celebrate at midnight when February 1st hits.
totalmente.
Seriously.
It feels like, because also why?
We have a
Archie's birthday!
We have
You
a
know
big
what?
birthday.
I know,
Big
early birthday.
Big
But-
birthday.
Big birthday.
Yeah, it's a big
Espérenme,
birthday.
déjenme trago amargo.
Sí, 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 sí. Let's toast to that.
No, honestly, girls, I am so happy to be back. We are refreshed. I missed these raw and real and unfiltered conversations with my unfiltered comadritas. Mind you, we've seen each other during the break, right?
Yes,
But
we
there's
have.
one thing that we were really missing. Our
Oh my
comadritas.
gosh.
You,
Yes.
our subscribers, our comadre
Yes.
tribe. Que no. How are you doing?
Yes.
Did you miss us?
I know.
I know.
I had so many DMs,
Right?
right?
Me
From all of our,
too,
a lot of our
yes.
followers. And that was really sweet to receive
was,
all those
it was.
wonderful messages about, we miss you guys when are you guys back?
Yes.
And we are here.
We're here.
Yeah, we need
Thank you.
the space, right? We need the
Yes.
space to talk to our girlfriends, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But, you know, girlfriends matter. You need your girlfriends to get through a lot of these sticky and unsettling times and situations. And, you know, December left us, January started, and it's no surprise that the year started on a Wednesday, led by Thursday and Friday, which means a WTF, right?
That's right. Literally, what the
That's
Yes.
right. It's
Yes.
been
Just
it's
say
been
it,
an
Archie.
interesting year.
You're
Ya lo dije, pero
I
dime
know.
otra vez.
50,
What
say it
the
again.
fuck, man? What the fridge? What the fudge?
What the hell?
O sea, que todo.
fridge.
You know what, girls? Honestly,
Yeah, it's been a year.
before sitting in this room, before you guys got here, I had a moment. I have to say, I had a moment. I came into the room and I was like prepping everything for my comadritas and for you all, light, todo. You know, Carlitos, our producer, Omar, they were here helping me. And then they left for a while and I sat here and I said, ¿Cómo cambia la vida? The last time we were sitting in this room, we were celebrating, we were singing, we were getting ready to enjoy the holidays, which we did.
Yeah.
Which we did.
We had a night out,
Yes.
right? That was beautiful. I was just thinking of all the beautiful moments that we shared in that last episode where we even made that beautiful jar with the wish jar.
Yes.
And I just dije, wow, we never in our wildest dreams imagined that we would be living what we had been living in LA.
That the nightmare was around the
That
corner.
the nightmare, we didn't see it coming. Look
Not
I'm
at
still
all.
getting the
Not at all.
chills.
Not at all.
It shook us to our core. It's still shaking us to our core because we're still processing, right? It's like a phase. It's kind of like when you lose someone and you go through those phases. To see our city of LA being burnt, literally, and how we were all affected, how we all have been impacted. Sí me sacudió in this room because it just shows you how we just, as much as we plan, life is just going to throw us a freaking curveball.
Life is
Any second.
fragile. It just reminds us that life is very fragile,
Yeah.
right?
See?
I mean, I got to say this because it was really funny because I had this to-do list and all my goals and, everything to get the year started, right? And all of a sudden, all my dreams and goals came crashing down.
Yeah.
On that horrible, devastating day for the fires. And I never expected those fires to be that bad. I always thought they got it. Those firefighters, they got it. It's not a problem at all. But the winds picked up, and my goodness, right?
Yes.
So
It just threw everything into
yeah.
a frenzy.
yeah,
I think it started off small and it was a little bit further away from you. We started praying for everybody that was going to be affected nearby. But then you see another huge fire start on the other side of town. And then another one. And then another one. And I remember it just got to a point where there was just fires that were just, it felt like we were in a war zone.
Yeah, like you're under attack.
We were under attack. That's what it felt like. And I think, it makes me emotional. But, I think during that time, I remember, I'm pretty calm. I was just like, we're good. And I remember that Friday hit. And I was like, I don't know if we're going to be good. And I remember my sister, she's just like, I'm going to my parents' house. I'm like, take the kids, take our dog, and, just head out.
Sí.
But the thing is that because you just felt like you were under attack.
Literally,
And I think
literally.
that's why the whole city came together, I think, after,
Well, because
too.
when you think about like Pacific Palisades and where the fire started, like, I mean, I've spent so much time there and it's like right on the water and you don't like, it's
don't
not
think.
one of the areas
No.
I would ever in my wildest dreams think, oh, a fire could hit here and destroy. The entire city of Pacific Palisades is gone.
I know.
And then how many people did you see over the course of those first few days? You're watching Instagram, you're watching news, and how many of people that we knew
I know.
lost their homes, their schools, their jobs. That was to me the biggest hit. Like
Same.
just
The
seeing
anxiety
people
was
that I
high.
knew. It's like
Yeah.
usually you see these disasters somewhere else, and you're like, oh, you feel bad for the people. But these were like my friends, my colleagues, former coworkers.
Same.
That hit me.
I think
Yeah.
we've all been touched. We all know someone or several people that have been through this devastation and lost everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, as we record this episode, this catastrophe that turned our lives upside down, it hasn't even been a month. It hasn't even been a month. So today in this episode, we're going to cover a lot of things that we've lived in this country. But I want us to take this moment to kind of still process what we're going through. And obviously, we want to hear from you too, comadritas, watching, listening in the car or at work. And let's kind of like, we're going to take it personal here because episode 2 is going to be dedicated to LA fires with victims, with nonprofits and the community effort, right? But right now, because we're still processing and look at, I'm getting the chills. I want us to like really check in on ourselves because I know that's one thing we did a lot, but how are we feeling? How did it affect you personally? I mean, we're going to discuss the community and the victims in episode 2, but just because we haven't really seen each other, but thanks to technology and phones, we were able to check in on each other. But how are we feeling today? And how did it impact you and change your life?
I was worried about Janet.
Yeah, I think, like I said, when it started, I just started looking around, and I have a friend in Altadena who lost her home, and so right away I was worried about her and her 2 kids. Her husband was traveling; he was working, so he wasn't there, and so she left. She left, thankfully. I would say thankfully, and you know, there's heartbreak in that, but she left when the winds were really strong, and so she didn't take anything with her, and we were just worried about her home. As I'm worrying about her home, you know, then, you know, the Palisades is getting stronger, and it's just ravaging through the city. And then you have Hollywood Hills start, right?
I remember that night. That's crazy.
Yeah. And then Studio City happened, and it felt like it was coming closer and closer. And at that moment, I think on Friday when I looked up, and I think I posted it, but I looked up from a yard and it was orange.
So
it was
that night that you were looking at the sky, I was looking at the same image because we don't live too far from each other. And when I saw that orange sky and the dark sky combining, I was like, okay, here we go again. Because I've been through 2 evacuations already. So it's not an easy thing. It's a difficult thing. So a mí lo que me pasa es que tengo un trauma. Because I've been through it of where I used to live before in Granada Hills. And I know what it is to evacuate at midnight, pregnant. I was pregnant with Camila, with the dog. Like, it's scary because you see the flames in your backyard and you see firemen grabbing your hose. Like, that's what I lived. I want to say 2008, 2009. That's around that time.
Yeah.
And so everything came back. And I'm like, I don't want to go through this again. So the panic kicks in.
PTSD.
Yes.
It did.
Yeah,
it kicked in for me. And because now, but guess what? Now I have to keep calm because now I have 2 girls.
Right.
And I need to keep calm for them because they're watching the news. They're watching everything. They're hearing mommy and daddy on the radio.
Watch duty. Let's not talk about that out.
So yeah,
Oh my God.
the
All day long.
So
All day
I was like, how do I
long.
keep my cool and my calmness? But deep down inside, I'm like, oh shit! Like here we go again. And you're right. At one point, I was surrounded by 2 fires: Palisades, and Kenneth Fire.
Oh, yes.
And that's when I got the
There was one
evacuation
over there, too.
preparedness order. And when
That's
you get
right.
that alert,
Prepare,
Yes.
right? Prepare
that's when you're
yourself.
like, that shit hit the fan, and you have like seconds. Well, you have a few hours, if anything. But then again, when you look at those winds, how they were 80 miles per hour, la vida te cambia en un segundo.
Yeah.
With those embers
Life
flying.
can change very quickly.
But I will tell you, because you had been through it before, you kind of knew
Yeah.
the steps of what was going to happen. I had never gone through anything like this. We had a fire at the Getty, was it 2 years ago?
I remember
And
that.
honestly, that one was even closer than these, but I didn't feel like this time. I didn't feel as close or as wild
I think
as it
because
did now.
so much was going on. That's
Yes.
the feeling.
Yeah.
When there's one
Absolutely.
fire somewhere, then it's just one. But we were surrounded by fires.
And the winds. I think
And-
it just
and
felt-
also-
Oh, those winds were horrible.
The winds were horrible. And also at one point, I thought we're under attack. There's some arsonists out
Yes.
there
Yes, it
setting
did
these
feel like that, too.
fires on purpose, which some of them were set on purpose.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, you know, after watching the news and seeing some arrests, that was very, very scary. It just
Very
goes to
scary.
show you how there's good people and then there's bad people,
Yes.
right? There's people that are here to give and help, and then there's people that are here to take,
Literally.
like the looters and all that.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
awful.
gosh. Let's not talk about
But
looters.
but yes. So you had a little scare. I want to talk to you girls about my scare.
I remember.
So I was at a meeting, right? I was at a meeting in Studio City when the manager said, "Just heads up, if anybody lives in Santa Clarita, a fire just started and it's burning pretty quickly." And I jumped out of my seat. I checked the watch duty app right away, and I said, "Yeah, it confirmed. It's in Santa Clarita." And I started to make my way back on the freeway, and I could see all the fire trucks from like Glendale. I mean, all over, just rushing through.
I saw your video.
Yeah.
That gave me the
Yes.
chills.
It gave me such high anxiety.
Oh my gosh.
I can't even tell you. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then just to see the traffic and that you need to get to your home. And I had to go pick up my daughter from school first.
Right.
That was chaos as well. I mean, we had to wait in line. We had to call the school. One by one, the students came out. And
Poor
then I saw
kids,
the
man.
smoke.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, it's getting closer and it's right it's literally right by on the path of my home. Was the wind was blowing that direction, and if you look at the watch duty, you can see that it was over 10,000 acres.
Yeah, it kept growing and
Just
growing.
to give you an idea,
Yeah.
and the Hearst fire was 14.
Yeah.
So just now, luckily there was no burnt homes or anything like that, but it was coming towards our neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So I was high anxiety.
I know. I remember.
was going
You know what
crazy.
helped a lot in your case, that coming from Palisades experience, where, man,
Yeah.
our heroes, these firemen that even lost their homes while they were saving other people's, trying to save other people's homes. The fact that the winds were not as aggressive as Palisades, but the fact that
Exactly.
we cannot have another Palisades on this side of town. That would be. I mean, we're already dealing with Altadena. My heart goes out to Altadena. So they just did everything in their power to control it, and they did. But you're right. You didn't sleep for like a full-on night. We all didn't sleep. We lost.
I was worried about you. I was
Yeah.
watching the watch duty app.
Yes.
Obviously, I know your address, and so
I was surrounded.
I was a little bit okay when I saw that the evacuation center was at the high school right near you, and then
Right
they
down the
moved,
street.
and then they moved it.
Then they moved it.
And then we
As
didn't hear
soon
from
as they moved it, I was like,
Yeah.
and then you were in evac 2,
Yes,
and then I was
yes.
like, okay, we were worried about
You know
I
when I got
started
scared of
packing.
you, Goma?
Yeah.
Hold my hand.
Oh, when?
When we started to text you and we didn't
Yes.
hear from you.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, have you heard from Mindy? Have you heard from Mindy?
Nope.
No. Okay.
I was
Oh,
packing,
gosh.
girls.
I
know.
think, me imaginé. She
Crazy.
must be packing, putting stuff in her car.
Yeah.
Pero,
I know,
see,
I
the
know.
scare,
Wow,
we were
the
scared for you.
anxiety, Yeah.
Yeah.
The anxiety, and I kept hearing like, my friends' voices, the ones that lost their homes, like, this is what I took, and don't forget this. And I'm like, this is so awful,
Yeah.
like to think of what you're gonna grab.
Oh, my gosh,
Now
yes.
keep in mind, we had a little more time than some of these poor people
Oh, no, see.
that had minutes or even
Yeah.
seconds or couldn't even get back home. They're at
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happened.
See, that's what happens. That's reality, right? So let's talk about what we packed or what we went through.
Well,
right?
before we go there, Dee, I know that you were like our backbone, because even though you're in an area where you're not facing the danger with the fires as close as we did,
Yeah.
you like held us together. Like you're in the middle, like doing
was.
this. She was
I
the
was.
hub. Yes. But how did you
still have boxes at your house?
I do. Well, no, yeah, that is the good thing, that I didn't feel like I was necessarily in the path of danger. But after seeing like the Palisades fire, like I said, I feel like all those people probably thought, oh, we're fine. Like we're
exactly.
safe. So when the fire hit Studio City that Wednesday night, I was not prepared. At all, until my neighbors are like, "Are you leaving? Are you staying?" And I'm like, "Leaving? Stay? Wait, what?" Like
happening?
I
Yeah.
it didn't even occur to me. I had nothing packed, and my neighbor's like, "You need to pack a bag," and I was like,
At
"Oh my
least have
god,
something ready."
I went
Yeah.
into like. Okay, it was almost like I went into shock because I wasn't really sure what to pack. My little one was already asleep. I grabbed a suitcase and I literally was like, what do I pack? Like underwear? I started packing underwear for my little one, and then I was looking at my designer bags. I was like, do I pack the designer bags? Is that like overachieving there? Like, what, am I being overambitious here?
No,
But I
girl,
just like,
you're not.
Like I said, I kind of went into shock mode
tell
because
you.
I was like, I could see the fire, and I was like, that fire, if the winds like you were talking about keep going, like it could totally just come down the hill and all the way down Laurel Canyon
Sí.
towards my house. And
Totalmente.
All it takes is the wind to shift.
that's what I'm
scary.
worried about. And
That's
because I
scary.
think I see those pictures of Pacific Palisades and like the whole, like the entire street is burned out. So I
Yeah,
was like,
exactly.
So yeah, but it was great that I wasn't like in danger. So yeah, when on that Friday night when she was like, Di, can I bring? I'm like, yes, bring the stuff.
I brought
was like,
boxes,
all of
yeah.
you are welcome to my
I
house.
know,
I have
thank you.
guest rooms in
Thank
my
you.
home that you guys could
Con
sleep in.
perritas.
I was like,
Yes.
we'll put up our arrow beds and perritas.
I
Yes, all
know.
pets were welcome. Everyone. I was like, I've
Yeah.
got wine, I've got food. Just come here to my house.
Like
So.
that's the hunker right there.
I
It
know.
was.
Yes.
You
It
know what's
was.
funny? Right before when I called you, I hadn't really packed. I think I went into shock as well, and Carl was putting stuff away, and that Friday I was like, okay. I think that to me was I went into shock. I went into a little bit of like a pause, a paralysis, if you will. And at that moment, I'm like, okay, what am I taking with me? Right? I'm not. I'm like, I looked around. Obviously, everything's really big. I'm like, pictures, right?
Yes.
So I try to put as many pictures, and I have, I'm a memories hoarder. So I have a lot of pictures from high school, from my childhood. So I did have a lot of those in boxes, and that's what I ended up packing to Di's house first. But then you realize that I'm like, okay, what else? And I remember sitting down and then Carl was like, okay, what else do we need to do? And I'm like, I don't know. And I'm like, I look around, I look at all my books. Obviously, you want to take everything. And then you realize this was a big moment when you look around and you realize I don't need anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need anything. Like I'm gonna be okay. Like I don't need anything. It would kill you,
But
right?
I do need my designer bag. Yeah. I don't need anything. Maybe I do. Maybe
I mean, you have time, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm like, I think the only thing that I couldn't really replace were some photos, those memories, those key items, those key things that hold memories.
Yes.
My kids, I would say like the box of my baby. Both of my kids have a box with their baby stuff.
I have that
One
too.
for Nathan and one
Trinkets
for
and all
Emma.
that.
Yeah, trinkets and their baptism stuff, all that kind of stuff. And I would say that to me would be devastating.
Yeah.
You know. But ultimately, I think I did go into a little bit of paralysis, and I didn't end up getting like a lot. I'm just like a little bit in denial, a little bit of
like, is it gonna happen?
Else.
So that night that you were packing, I was packing too. I was watching a movie with the girls. We were watching Judy with Renee Zellweger, by the way, kind of to get our mind going.
Yeah.
Like just you have the fires back there. You're like, okay, I need to kind of normalize the situation here at home. We were watching a movie. Y para que Omar saliera de su cuarto a las 11 de la noche, because that man knocks out on a Friday by 10. But he comes out, what are you guys doing? I'm like, well, we were like, why are you up?
Yeah.
And that's when I knew. I'm like, okay, dice, man, what I want to talk to you. And so I'm like, okay. So I go to him. He's like, start packing. The fires are getting too close. And we need to be ready.
And that's when it hits
That's when it hit me, which is when you and I started texting you.
Yes.
Esa noche, I didn't go to bed till like almost 2:00 in the morning because luckily I have all my albums in the same section in the office, the girls' stuff as well in the closets. I have it in boxes. So I already kind of knew where stuff were. But I did tell the girls, great. Okay, girls, exercise. Start packing something in a bag where you cannot live without, like something that has a lot of meaning, a lot of value. And there was one moment when I was packing my sentimental, important stuff. And I did look at my bags. No tengo muchas, pero por lo mismo, lo poquito que tengo, I looked at Omar and I said, would it look too vanidosa, too superficial and like frivola?
Yeah.
If I take like this bag? Y dice, no, you're taking that. I bought it for you. 10th anniversary, te la llevas porque te la llevas. I'm like, yes,
I know.
Porque sí hubo un momento de, wait, this
everything.
guilty, like it's
Yes.
the freaking bag, but it's not the bag.
It's not.
It's that it was a gift from my husband for our 10th anniversary, and it took a lot of effort and
it's also costs money.
Yeah,
You can resell it.
Pero si se
You
quema,
can
te
resell
juro
it.
que no me dolería como el zapatito del bautizo de la niña.
Right.
Like that's a big deal,
Well,
right?
that's the thing. You have first round, right? First round
Categories.
Yes.
Hay niveles, amiga. Hay niveles.
Yeah, you have first round, which is
How much
got
time
the
do you
most
have to
important thing.
pack?
I know.
If you only have 30
That's
minutes,
right.
you pack like
One
important
suitcase,
documents.
then
Yeah.
two
But that's the
suitcases.
thing.
That's it.
You
If
know,
you have a few hours, take the bags.
I
Take
even
the
made
bags.
a video of how to pack essentials, and it's still on my Instagram, by the way. And then I heard I didn't pack a luggage, but I did pack boxes. And I heard one of the chiefs say, when we say evacuate, we're not saying pack a luggage. We're saying pack a backpack. And I was like,
Oh.
you don't want to see my car. There's no way. I mean, como dices tú, depending on how much time you have to
Yeah.
prepare, pack as much as you can of things that mean to you.
Right.
Obviously.
Exactly.
So I
Yes.
want to take this time to show one of the many things that we packed. Like, why did you grab that? And what does it mean to you? I think it's the moment to tell us in the world, like, what is that? So who wants to start with that sentimental
Well,
item?
yeah, I brought a few little things. Some of the boxes I couldn't bring to show because they were too heavy.
Yeah.
But yes, one of the first things that I pushed aside towards the door, I was carrying everything towards the door. I pulled some luggage out. I did because it has wheels and it was just easier to carry.
And
I
you
had a little more time to
And you
pack.
had time, yeah.
Yeah. So one of the first things that I packed was all the trinkets for my daughter. I only have one daughter, so everything, her baptism, little outfits, her little trinkets from school, her little hand, all those things I cherish and I want to keep forever. Those are they're priceless and you cannot replace them. So I do have them in a box, so it's easy to grab. So I grabbed that. Then I went for the photo albums. And that's when I realized how many goddamn photo albums I own. And let me tell you, bringing those down, because I have them way up, kind of stored away. Now, this is like high school.
Yes.
All the way into my 20s. You know, before like, you know, the iCloud and the iPhones came in, right? Everything was like
Digital.
cameras.
You gotta go print them at
Everything was
freaking
printed,
TDS.
and I didn't keep any of the negatives. I threw that stuff away a long time ago, right? So to me, that was not replaceable. So I grabbed them, but every time I started to bring it down and put it in the suitcase, I go, God damn it. These are so heavy. I got to digitize this. And I've been talking about it for years, and I haven't done it.
It's
And
a
that
lot
was
of work,
That was a
though.
wake-up call. That was a wake-up call. Now, the second thing that I approached, and my vintage photo. And, you know, sadly, my parents never took a lot of pictures. And the few that we had, my mom lost them throughout the years. So this is the only picture of me as like a little baby. The only picture.
That's you.
Original picture. So, of course, I'm like, if I lose that one.
Espérame, déjate
digitize
veo.
it.
Oh my gosh, you're adorable.
And here's the sad thing. I have not digitized even that one.
You need to.
Yes.
Okay.
You need
This
to.
is
The second one was me and my mom, a picture a long time ago before she got really sick of both of us. So this is something, again, I don't have the negatives for this. And the rest, I looked at all the pictures. I said, I have, they're on the iCloud. It's okay.
You want to pass
I
it
can
around? Vean qué chula. De chiquita.
The
Cachetoncita.
only baby picture I have at that age. I have another one, you know, a little bit older,
Right.
but that's it.
How cute.
But at
Those
least you have that.
dresses.
At least
the
you
little
have
dresses.
that.
Kind of ironic that you
Yeah.
became a photographer.
Ponla
I have
ahí.
so many
I know, I'm
photos.
telling you,
Deja ver
pictures
a-
mean a lot
Yes.
to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
A lot to me.
You know what
So-
the best thing that happened in January was?
So beautiful.
The new
Thank
Bad
you.
Bunny album. Speaking of photos,
Ah,
okay?
sí. Por eso no se burlen de mí when I
Yes.
pull out with my scrapbooks. I
What is the
am
song
a-
called? Debí tomar más
Más
fotos.
fotos. Yeah.
Like,
If Bad Bunny says it, now ahora
Yes,
sí le hacen
yes,
caso, ¿verdad?
yes.
I want to say it. I want to say take as many photos, but
Yes.
now, thank goodness for digital and all that.
Yes.
That's great. And then everything in my safe. I have a
Right.
giant safe in my home where I have, you know, pieces of jewelry that were given to me.
Yeah.
You know, my mom gave me things, esclavitas, you know.
Esclavitas, sí,
Remember the little
pulseritas.
bracelets with the name on
name.
it?
Oh,
I still have mine with my name.
Those are things.
So I took all of that really great stuff that I've accumulated throughout the years that I keep in the safe all the time. And, you know, documents, you know, you don't want, it's hard
Of course.
it's hard to replace those documents.
It's just a headache. I mean, you can always replace them, but it's just it's going to be a headache. So
Yeah,
why? If we
exactly.
can avoid the headache about
right.
passports and birth certificates
Exactly.
and marriage certificates and divorce certificates, right? Or you want those
Yes.
black?
I have
Esos
all
que se
that in
quemen.
there.
Que se
No,
quemen.
it's because I came in, but I
my
have.
wedding dress, I was going to leave it in the garage. I was like, leave it. Just give it.
Me too. It's in the garage. I didn't grab that one. But what I'm saying is that all that stuff really does make sense. And it, honestly, for me, it was like a drill. I'm like,
Yes.
wow, I learned so much from this. You know,
Yeah.
like what is valuable?
Sí.
What at the end of the day, what matters,
I
right?
think
What
there was
matters?
definitely lessons learned.
Lessons,
for
a lot of
everyone.
Lots of
exactly
lessons
what
learned.
when Janet said that right now, when you look around your house and you go,
What?
could I live without?
Without.
And
I did
that's
pack my designer
so-
bags though, a few,
Yeah.
not all of them.
Yeah.
Not all of them. I
Hey,
did.
no
That was
guilt
round
here.
two.
Yeah.
No, you know why,
No,
girls?
it's like
Because
packing your jewelry.
No,
and
but wait
they're
a minute.
valuables.
Well, let me tell you something. I thought about if I lost everything and I needed money, I could sell some of those
Yes.
bags or even some of that jewelry for a
Yes.
good amount of money.
Mujer
That's what I mean.
inteligente.
I'm
Yeah,
telling
That is
you. It's
absolutely.
not because,
That's why I
my
said
bag,
It's
no.
considered a
Like,
valuable.
I
consider
could
them a
resell it and
valuable.
you know, get a few thousand for it.
Yes.
And live and
live
eat
off of that.
Exactly. So
Wow.
I thought about that as well.
So I know you have a lot of designer bags, but I know that you also went through the packing experience. What is one of the items that you have to bring
in
with
my
you?
little like shock moment,
Yeah.
one of the things when I went downstairs and I put that funky suit, which now I look back and I'm like, I mean that's how I know I was in shock, because I'm like, when I unpacked it I was like, why did I pack so many socks? Like I just like, I don't know.
You're a rookie.
Yeah, but the one thing I remember was I put my suitcase, and I have this little like table at the front door, and at the front door I keep my little dogs, my first dog's ashes. And I still have her ashes to stay there, because when I leave the house every day, like I always remember, like she would always walk me to the door, she would wait for us at the door. So that's where I leave her ashes.
What was her name?
Abby.
Abby.
My
I
little
think I
dog.
met Abby.
Yes,
Abby.
I
yes,
did meet
yes,
Abby. She's so
Abby with
sweet.
the
I remember
eyelashes.
Abby when you first got her.
Yes,
Wow,
my
Diana, that is so
Abby.
Sweet doggy.
sweet.
So
That's
that was
cute.
like right next to the suitcase. So that's what I was like,
So,
okay,
Abby
yes,
is here.
Abby. Mi
Aw.
perrita
You know
Abby.
that our dogs are our family.
Yes.
And
Yes.
all these days I've been seeing and hearing stories about how this one family literally went and they sacrificed their life because anything could have happened to save their 3 dogs. I don't know if you saw it in Fire Aid. They
seen
highlighted that
so
family.
many. I didn't see that. But
Lo que es que ese amor de animalitos, they're everything. My dogs are about to be 15. Literally in the next few weeks. And so, of course, one of the things that we had to prepare was they had their go bag.
They're
Their
part of
food,
the
their
go bag.
diapers,
They're
their
part of the
medication.
family. Yeah, they're part of the family.
Yes.
Abby, qué bueno.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Abby.
Okay.
And my other 3 dogs that are still alive.
You're like, you too.
Yeah.
Can I say something really funny though? When I looked over to see what my daughter, who's a teenager, was packing.
Oh my gosh, what? Tell me.
I opened the door. I'm like, you ready? She goes, yeah, Mom.
Her shoes.
I am not joking. She couldn't stuff enough shit in that luggage and bags. I was like, what is in
You're
it?
like, we going to Paris?
She goes, Mom, I'm taking all my Skims, all my Uggs. She's like, and all my Brandy Melville and Aritzia. Are you kidding me, Mom? And I'm like, the things that are important for teens are so different.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what? I didn't even bother to go through the girls' bags, but no, they I think they threw in their little Sephora glosses and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah,
makeup.
Emma had
All the
her bag.
makeup.
But it did cheer me up when I saw that Cami got one of her. So this is what Cami did. She got her first trophy from piano when she was 5. She got her first trophy from tennis, and to me that was like, okay, I see you, girl. I see you. And amongst other sentimental things that abuelitas have given her.
That's
and
cute.
and Bella is more like mommy in like hasta el primer certificado de un premio, no? Like they were very
Sentimental.
Yeah. So I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
that's
this is good. This
cute.
is good.
Yeah.
But I did see, that I don't even know how to pronounce it. Stussy, sweatshirt.
Juicy.
Stussy.
I don't even know how to say that.
Stussy. Juicy.
Okay,
Oh,
I did
okay,
see
sorry.
that in the bag. I'm like, oh, okay. Pues más le vale.
You know
porque
what?
se le costó.
Those hoodies are valuable.
Those are their
hoodies
valuables.
I know.
Yeah, those are expensive sweatshirts.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah,
My
I get
daughter
it.
did take all her jewelry too. That the family has given her. So yeah, she did have that in there as well. But
Good.
I'm like,
Yeah.
she goes, oh no, Mom, I gotta these are expensive. I'm like, okay, girl.
O sea, antes muerta que sencilla, ¿eh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
No,
yeah,
it's things that are valuable to
know.
them. I mean, aside from having each other, right? And then you think about photos, the next phase, right? The next step is to look at the things that are valuable, the things that you use day to day. I mean, my stepdaughter grabbed a whole bag full of books because she had to evacuate from Hollywood Hills, and
Yeah.
she brought her favorite
She
books,
loves to read,
and
right? It
so
means a lot.
yeah, there are things that are meaningful.
And
you
you're
know?
right. And earlier you were saying, like, when you looked at your house and you had that moment of humbleness. And it's true. Like, what do I take? You're like, I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. I just bought that piece of furniture, but que se queme. I don't care. Y sí es cierto. We're in a different phase of our lives where material things really don't matter, right? And so that's why it was easier for me to pack the sentimental things because luckily, I mean, we've done well, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
And so puedo comprar, si Dios quiere, otro sofá, otro cuadro, otro espejo que acabo de comprar un espejito. But it's just where you are in life. So yes, we cannot be too hard on our kids because I remember when I was 14, 15, my Vans better be coming with me. Oh, because my Vans were the only Vans.
Yeah.
My docs. Yeah.
Yeah. But I
That's the
want to
most
know,
important
what
thing.
did you pack, amiga? Because I know that
Yeah,
you
you
went through a
know-
lot too.
But I think that's what it was. We say it, right? We say it all the time. Like, material things are not that important, and they're not. But and we go through the motions of saying it. But I think in that moment, what struck me the most is that you do put categories to things, and when you look around and you look at your home for what it is, you're struck by this sensation that you're like, okay, it's almost like a loss, right? Like you're letting it go. And that to me was very impactful to go through that exercise when not only just as an exercise, but like there's a real possibility that you could lose everything. So I think number one is the photos, and we talked about the kids. I was looking around, and one thing that I did want to bring back with me was it's a meaningful memento. My sister-in-law gave it to me, and it was a good practice. It's a good practice to go through this, to think about these things. Whoever's listening, like go through your things and realize, because in that moment you're such in shock that you don't think about everything. I left so many pictures up on the shelves that I didn't even think
And they're so
of.
beautiful. I've seen those pictures.
Yeah, and I didn't think of everything. But the one thing that I'm like, you know what? This is something that I would bring with me. So my sister-in-law found it in Arizona. As many of you guys know, Argelia and I are from San Juan de los Lagos. And then another little backstory is Carl and I were engaged in La Iglesia de San Juan de los Lagos.
En la Basílica.
En la Basílica.
Sí. Oh,
We were engaged in La Basílica, and Carl, was going to propose in La Sala de los Milagros. Do you remember La Sala de los Milagros?
Yes. Todos los retablos.
So there's an area where it's all of the miracles that happen, that people pray to La Virgen de San Juan de los Lagos.
Within the basilica, like inside?
Inside the basilica, behind the basilica, there is there's a room.
Like a museum, kind of.
It's a little bit like a museum, and there are
nice.
all of these milagros that people put
Like
up.
miracles that happen.
Miracles,
On paintings.
yes. And they're paintings and they're stories, and they're just in very many different forms. So my sister-in-law was in Arizona, and she found this milagro.
This is beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
So
In
yes,
Arizona?
girl.
Yes, so
Is
this
that on
is
metal?
Yes,
Yes.
this is on
Oh,
metal.
wow.
It was painted.
¿Qué dice
and it's
milagro?
con fe y amor damos gracias a oración a la Virgen de San Juan de los Lagos. So it's a prayer to La Virgen de San Juan de los Lagos for a milagro that was given. And it has it's really, really old,
That
from
is so
1956.
pretty.
It's a real story, girl. So
It's
this is a real story.
and it ended up in Arizona, and
Maybe
so
someone's story.
Yeah,
it is.
It is.
It is a story.
From Arizona.
It is, and I think they probably took it back with them, and it ended up.
That's what I'm thinking.
in
It was their
Arizona.
original story, and
Yes.
then they ended
Well,
up
there is a thing. Como San Juan de los Lagos is visited by millions after La Virgen de Guadalupe.
Yes.
In Mexico City, La Virgen de, can I see it? La
Yes.
Virgen de San Juan es la más visitada. And what happens? That every year during La Candelaria, which is coming up, by the way, es el 2 de febrero, y el 15 de agosto, people that have survived an accident or a tragedy or have been cured by an illness,
Yes.
they go back and they thank La Virgen, and many times they write their story on a painting and they leave it on that wall.
Yes.
But what happens? Pasa el tiempo y se llena y se llena.
Too
y
many,
se llena.
right?
Too many. So
Too
they
many.
have to bring them down. And it's always been a
And
mystery.
also,
like,
some
where
people
they put 'em.
take them back
Qué
with
lindo.
them.
After
So
some
they
time.
take them back with them, and I think that's what ended up happening. That they took them back with them, and for whatever reason, they got rid of their items, and it ended up.
Chicas, did you read this? Can I
a
read
place.
it?
Yes,
Yeah.
please read it.
Con fe y amor. This is a story of this family.
Yes.
Of this person that went back and thanked La Virgen. Con fe y amor, doy y damos oración y gracias a la Virgen de San Juan de los Lagos por haberme salvado la vida de 3 balazos que me dieron en la espalda el 13 de diciembre de 1956. Agradecido, Silverio Rangel Briones, Marcial Castillo, donado por el señor Marcial Castillo. This is the miracle.
My last name was Castillo. Maybe that's somebody else.
That's one of your family members.
Did anybody get shot?
You gotta dig in.
look back.
Yes.
And so this is
Some
one of
family
millions
history
of
here.
miracles of La Virgen de San Juan.
Wow.
Janet, the fact that you would obviously save this is because
A treasure.
amor a tu patria, amor a tu cuna, amor a
It
tu
was.
gente.
I think what's special about this is just that it's so representative. It's just like a little piece of my parents' hometown
Yes.
and the church, and then also what it represents for Carl and I, and like that we were going to be engaged in that room.
So
It is,
meaningful.
yeah. And then my sister-in-law was the one who found it in Arizona,
Yes.
and she thought of me and she thought of Carl, and so it's very, very special.
Those
and
are irreplaceable things
Yeah,
too.
same.
You can't just like we were saying, like you could replace a couch, you could replace
Exactly.
a picture frame,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Exactly.
But
We all
that is
I know, and it's from 1956. So
That's insane.
it's one of the little small things, and these are reminders for everybody at home, just to, don't wait until it's too late
Yeah.
to look through your items and to see what is meaningful. I would 100% just put all your category of photos in one area because
area.
you never know.
You never know.
you
You
never
never
know.
know when the next one is. Well, I'm going to kind of piggyback on your story. You mentioned something. You said that the reason why this also means to you is because it's a connection to your family, your roots, your history. So kind of on the same page here. So what are the many things that I saved? Yes, photos, of course. Hello, documentarian here.
Yes.
But one of the things that I got was all my girls. Every time they give me a birthday card and a Mother's Day card, they don't buy them. They make them. So of course I have that in my nightstand. Literally, I have it when I'm feeling down.
So do I.
Yeah, when
So
I'm
do I.
feeling down.
Yeah.
O estas hoy no me quieren. let me remember that they love me. I open my nightstand and I go through the cards that they made. So of course that came with me, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I noticed that I packed this time around that I didn't pack, obviously, the first time around. But this for sure is also on my nightstand. And I keep it in this box, which comes from Mazamitla, Jalisco. I bought it in one of my many trips to Jalisco. This is my favorite flower.
I love
Alcatraz.
Mazamitla.
Yes. Yes.
Have you been to? Yeah, if you've never been to Mazamitla, it's like mini Yosemite, right?
Yes.
So beautiful.
Like a little Big Bear. Yeah.
Beautiful town, Pueblo Mágico. But so this box comes with me, handmade. But what's inside is really what means to me.
Ooh,
So when my mom got married, she was the only child, la única mujer. When my mom got married, she fell in love, and guess what? My dad se la trajo a Estados Unidos, and they landed in Chicago. So it was the first time my mom was leaving home. That was the biggest pain for her parents, my grandparents. So Mama Toña, my grandmother, gave her this. Y dijo, mija, ahora que vas a viajar sola and you're leaving the house, you're leaving the nest, I want you to always carry this with you because she's going to protect you. Obviously, we're from the same place, Virgen de San Juan de los Lagos, but at the same time, my abuelita was also, fiel devota de la Virgen de Guadalupe. And because of la Virgen de Guadalupe, we're all Guadalupanos, right?
Yes.
So this image, which is falling apart, and I need to get it to a place where they can refurbish it.
Back. Yeah.
Tenía un plastiquito y tenía una lucecita y tenía más florecitas. But when my mom has carried this with her since she left home when she was 18.
Wow.
And so...
And she passed it on to you.
And as donde voy. So when she comes with her to Chicago, it's blessed by el padre de la Basílica de San Juan, by the way. She brings it to Chicago. From Chicago, they move to San Pedro. Ahí viene la imagen. And then this is where it gets interesting with me. When I took off for the first time to college, well, that was the first time I was leaving home, my mom gave me this. And
She passed it on to you.
she passed it on to me y me dijo, cuídala con tu alma porque es tu abuela vigilándote y la virgencita. And it has a story, right? So it's been through,
Wow.
it came with me for 4 years to LMU, and I had it in my dorm. And so every time my roommate
Super
or friends would
meaningful.
come, they would
Yeah.
see La Virgen. I would tell them about the miracles of La Virgencita. But con tantas mudanzas, it's kind of falling apart now, and I have to do a better job of protecting this. But when my little sister Vanessa took off to Yale, I was like, I gotta continue the tradition. So I dropped off my little sister at Yale, and I didn't want to get rid of it. And I told her, te la voy a prestar.
Yeah. Bring it back.
So just because she was so far away.
Yes.
And like I left
So
the nest,
far.
but I was only 40 minutes away from home, and she was like
Yeah.
across the country,
Yeah, she
Connecticut.
was.
So I gave it to my little sister, and I told her it's going to be yours for 4 years. But when you come back, like I want it back because I want to give it to one of my daughters when she
Yes.
leaves, right? So my little sister had it with her for 6 years because she ended up staying there for 6 years.
my
But you know what? She
goodness.
came back and she's like, Argie, thank you so much for lending me La Virgencita. Save it for Cami or for Bella, whoever leaves first, right? So of course she's coming with me no
So
matter what
wonderful.
fire.
Story. What a story.
Yeah.
And this is it.
That's touching.
Girls, es la
See, so
Virgencita.
those are the things that we
Yeah.
have, we have so much love for.
Yes.
I mean, priceless, right?
Yeah.
You can't replace that.
And I can buy another image. Y tengo
You
imagen de la
can.
Virgen, but it's
A million.
the story.
It's the story
It's the
behind
fact
that.
that my Mama Toña bought it. It's the fact that she touched it. It's the
Yes,
fact that,
yes.
that she gave it to her daughter. It's the hands that have been on it.
The energy
That's
that it holds.
it
Oh, my
for me.
goodness.
So
yeah.
I even love it.
Yeah.
Oh, and then quick, when I had Camila, when I was pushing in that labor room and she almost didn't come out,
Yeah. You had that?
I had her in front of me in the wall. I told the doctor
Yes.
I need to have that in front of me on top of the TV. And when I pushed her out, I said, "Ayúdame, Virgencita de Guadalupe."
Yeah.
And that's when Cami came out. So this image has been with me in special rooms. So
That's wonderful.
this is
Cuídala.
That's special.
Like,
That's
cuídala.
special.
Yeah.
Yes,
And so
yes.
this is one of the many things. Pero ahí está,
That's
you know.
really
And that's what really life
sweet.
is all about too, right?
You
Those
know, and
moments.
when we were discussing all of these moments and all of these little items, that do mean a lot, and that we did have the time to collect, and we still have, right? I think that's what struck us the most, and I think really, really, really got emotional over all of those families that have lost everything.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
And I think, as we were talking about it amongst ourselves, because we've been in contact all throughout January, because and we'll talk about that in a little bit and how much that meant just to get through these hard times.
Oh my gosh, yes.
But But all of the work that we did through Vámonos, which we will talk in a little bit. I mean, that this is what matters, and like I think when you see so many families lose so much, and then you know how much importance and how much attachment there are to things.
Yeah.
Your heart is breaking, and you're like, how can I help? Like there's just no, they were turning away volunteers because I think we all felt that.
This
We all
was
wanted
our
to give.
9/11, and this
Yes.
put for everybody, especially me, like things into perspective. Like going back to what do you value, and exactly seeing people lose their homes, their jobs, children losing their blankies, their schools. I mean,
They don't even have a school to go back
that
to.
was so
Yeah.
exactly. That was so heartbreaking.
I
I still like it's still like for weeks or I mean, it only has been a few weeks. It's crazy, but like
Sí.
even like laughing or hanging out with friends. I know that I had things planned for January also with friends, get-togethers. And we
Sí,
canceled.
no.
It just didn't feel right to go out and celebrate a birthday. Your sister had her birthday in January. I remember she said,
Well, where
I'm
was
not
she?
even going to celebrate.
She was
Where was
helping
she?
us.
Yeah, she was helping
we
us.
were at a
volunteering.
donation
Yeah.
site, and she was volunteering
And I
on
remember
her
she
birthday.
said, I'm not going
She
to.
was
She said
there.
she didn't even want to go out to dinner with her friends. 'Cause
Right.
She said it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
Felt
that's
very
how
heavy.
heartbroken we
Yeah.
all were.
It was very heavy.
It was very
our
heavy.
friends.
Heavy,
And I'm
exhausting.
glad you're bringing that
heavy.
up, that word, as
Yeah.
we reflect on the challenges of our community, that everything we faced, as Angelinos, specifically from the devastation of the fires to the uncertainties of rebuilding, which that's another conversation for episode 2. There's another reality that continues to weigh heavily on our families. You were just talking about it, Janet, immigration. And we're not going to get into policies and politics and presidents. That is not the topic and the angle, but we do want to get into the human side of people. And when we say people, we mean everyone, not just Latinos. Like we mean everyone. Parents, children, loved ones, teachers, professionals. We're not seeing color here. We're seeing a human being. And I know that for us, that's also taken a toll because we're dealing with the LA fires devastation.
And
And
then
on
this-
top of that, we're dealing with the division in this country, but we're dealing with a human catastrophe, tragedy for a family of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that all of a sudden they're just scared to walk on the street. And that is not easy.
That's been taking a toll, I think, on all of us because, let's face it, I think we all have had family members who, were probably here undocumented, many years ago, thank
Or
goodness.
currently.
Or currently.
Yes.
Thank goodness that, my father was here. It was just easier, back in the day, back in 69, to immigrate, and immigrate family members. You could do it for the cousins.
Yeah.
And I don't think people realize that how easy it was before and how hard it is now, how tough
yeah.
it is now.
How do you think
There
why,
is
why do you
no
think
way.
my dad was
Yeah,
born
there
here?
is
Because
no
it was
way.
easy to, I'll be
Yeah,
back. I'm going to go across the
exactly.
border and visit
Yeah.
the U.S. It was so easy.
So easy.
But now it's not. And you said something, we all know someone. We're all connected
Absolutely.
to someone. But you don't even have to know someone. Just by seeing the stories and hearing the stories, if you have this human side to you, te va a llegar porque te va a llegar. I'm about to celebrate 50 and I cannot have 2 of my friends in my celebration because guess what? They're scared to drive.
Yeah.
They're scared to
Oh.
drive from the south and from the north. They live
They're
in
scared to
California,
drive.
but they're scared to drive. And so to me, it's forget about my birthday, right?
Yeah.
It's about the fear that they're facing because of the separation if they get caught. Like, that's the reality.
I don't have to go that far. I have family who's undocumented that are living in another state, in this state. And the fear of the unknown, this immigrants are under attack right now. And my family is under attack, and, our extended family, everybody who looks like my aunt, everybody who looks like my uncle, my cousin, our nieces and nephews, schools are under attack, kids are just feel like,
Farm
they're
workers.
going to be taken away. Our farm, my family's from Oxnard, our farm working communities. It's heavy.
I
It
just
is
really
heavy.
believe that I get what they want to do, but and all for the criminals out, but most people are not criminals. That's my whole thing, and I really hope that they actually fast track the people that are hard workers that have been paying their taxes. I
Our
hope
dreamers,
that they
that are
fast-track those
studying, that are
people.
professionals,
Yes,
our
yes.
dreamers that practically have lived here since they were 1 or 2 or 3.
They don't even remember.
This is their
remember
home.
much. This is their home.
How do you explain that to them? You know,
Exactly.
It's
There is
tough.
no path.
Yeah.
There is no. Everyone says stand in line. There is no line.
Yeah.
There's no line. They took away that app that had people sign up. There's no line. There hasn't been a line in a while. It's very, very, very difficult.
Yeah.
And so you have all of these hardworking people and families that are contributing to our economy. What is it? $90 billion
Enormously.
and this is money that they don't have access to.
Exactly.
So they are feeding into our economy. They're making everything better. They are the backbone of this country. And now we're going to feel the effects, And aside from the emotional side and seeing everybody suffer and feeling helpless, and I think one of the things that I've said is that we just need to figure out ways to help, And so there's a lot of immigration companies that are or firms that are jumping on board to help. There's a lot of resources. Obviously, there's a lot of information for ICE.
I'm glad you bring that up because we are actually going to dedicate a whole episode
Yes.
to inform.
We have to,
We're going to
yeah.
have an immigration lawyer.
Yes.
Yes.
We have many questions because we are living that reality with the
Correct.
people that we know.
Yeah.
So we definitely are preparing that episode. It is coming and it needs to like we're working on it as we speak.
And we need to stay loud.
Yeah,
we need
we
to stay
are.
loud.
We are.
need to protect these families. We need to support and everybody who just feels displaced right now. We need to help them. We need to check in with people who are feeling like that.
I love that you said check in because I think that everything that we've gone through in less than a month
Yeah.
has been very heavy, very intense, exhausting, mentally, emotionally, just draining in all aspects. But the one thing that has kept us kind of sane is us.
Yes.
Checking in on each other.
Checking in on each other.
Yes.
That mental
Yeah.
health is taking a toll in everywhere, but I feel like in LA more so because of the double tragedy. But in this case, girls, I'm telling you right now, if we didn't have each other during these times, because I'm going to be honest, there are people that have checked in, there are people that haven't. And you know what? When you texted me constantly, I didn't feel alone. I feel like, okay,
Same.
the girls are with me, even though we're not seeing each other.
Yes.
You see it. I even posted about that. Like your words were calming. They were soothing. And that's what we need to hear. So Diana, thank you for always
Yes,
checking
yes,
in on me, amiga, because man, you were bombarding my phone. But but the one thing that I will always appreciate from you is it didn't matter the time, is that you're like, I want to do something, Argie. I want to do something. What can we do? And te sientes impotente, right? You want to
Yes.
do so
You wanna
much,
do
but then we
something.
have 2 freaking fires surrounding our
Yes.
homes. And we're like, girl, I see you, I hear you. We're going to do something. And we are. We are doing something. We're going to talk about it with Vámonos in episode 2, by the way, as well. We're going to talk to Susie and to explain how she kind of brought this whole initiative on our end. But checking in on our
Checking
mental
in
is
is
what kept our
important.
mental health kind of like a little bit stable. And I want to read something that I found on Instagram. And I want to give a shout out to We All Grow Latina, Ana Flores, you're watching this post. There was one moment one day where I was feeling very, very, very scared, not just the fires, but the immigration, everything that was happening. And when I read this post, it literally, the power of words, right?
Yes.
Which, by the way, Wordiful, Liz Hernandez, we're looking at you.
Oh, yes.
We need you, girl. We need your words
Yes.
more than ever. This is a post. We are here to remind you that you are not alone. There's no roadmap for navigating difficult moments, but there are ways to find strength, even when everything feels uncertain. We see you. We feel you. Amiga, we know your heart has been so heavy this past week. When a crisis hits, it's hard to breathe. It's hard to think. It's hard to simply be. It's overwhelming, and we want you to know you don't have to go through it alone. We're holding space for you with so much love, care, and compassion. And that was that one post from We All Grow Latina that brought me back to my center. I don't even know the person that posted it, but I know We All Grow Latina, and I know Ana, and I appreciate them using their platform to soothe so many of us.
Yes.
And I hope that we do the same with our platform.
I'll tell you, I
Yes.
needed to hear those words right now.
Yeah.
Well, there they are, amiga.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And that's what we are doing here with this episode. We don't know your stories, but we can't even imagine what it feels like to lose a home because we didn't lose it.
Right.
So as much comfort we give to our friends that have lost a home, we will never be in their shoes. Hopefully we'll never be in their shoes,
Yes.
but we can't say, oh, I imagine your pain. No, you have no freaking idea
That's true.
what it is
Not
to
at
lose
all.
a home. All we can do is words,
Support.
comfort, support, calling, checking in.
My sister lost her home. So that was the closest thing to like experiencing.
With this round or
Not this round.
years ago?
It was in a wildfire. She had electrical work in her home, and the guy that was working on the home hit an electrical wire with a torch, and her whole second floor went up in flames, and then burned the rest of the home. So I know what it is to not have a home and lose a lot of things and have to live, in a hotel for a year to have your home rebuilt and then live with other people. So yes,
No, es que acuérdate,
it sucks.
losing a home is not the structure.
Right.
No,
It's the sacrifices. It's the years.
The
it's
stability.
the dream. For many of us, buying our home is the American dream. You know, studying, being the first one to go to college to fulfill that dream. Not for you, for your parents.
Yeah.
So losing that home, forget about the zip code. It's literally the sacrifices.
And it's also your sanctuary.
También.
When we leave here, when we've had a bad day or a good day, or we're celebrating something,
Where do we
do you
go?
do it? Home.
Home.
I'm tired. I want to go.
Home is where the heart is. Home is where-
Everything,
right.
yeah.
No matter
It
where we
really is.
travel,
Yeah.
we always want to go back home because it's
Yes,
home. It's
so
so bad.
my heart breaks for everyone that lost their home because I think you could be at your aunt's house or your friend has offered you their guest room for or guest house for as long as you want. It's not your home. Your
It
things
doesn't-
aren't there
yeah.
anymore. And to
That's true.
rebuild that from zero, even if they get a new apartment or a new home, to build that all the way from zero, like from you've lost everything. Now you've got to buy the new books.
Yeah, to not
You've
feel
gotta
settled.
get all the
sure.
And
that
then the fear.
to me.
But also the fear, like to move on from that and just always have that in the back of your head, right? Like this can happen, and because
Anytime.
we
The
do live in
trauma.
California.
Earthquakes.
Earthquakes,
Yes. I
mean,
also disasters.
We're waiting for the big one. And are we prepared for that? We always say that we are. And honestly, it's a very different preparation from a fire because fire, at least you get a kind of an alert. You see the fires. Oh, shoot. But with the earthquake, it can happen any minute.
And then that's let's bring up we're going to Costco, no water, no eggs.
No eggs,
that's
amiga.
another thing.
The bird flu. I mean, seriously.
See, I mean,
There's
what
a lot.
else?
January was
But you guys,
jam-packed.
there's a lot. There's a lot going on.
January
It's
was
very
jam-packed.
heavy. It's very heavy
Yeah.
for so many
know.
reasons. And that's why it's important to lean on your friends. If you need help, ask for it.
Yes,
If
ask
you
for
are
help.
feeling down, ask for help because it's important now more than ever. And that's why we have each other, right? That's why we invite you guys in. We are your comadres. If you guys reach out to us, let us know how you're feeling. Reach out to your girlfriends, reach out to your cousins, to your friends, anybody who's there with you. It's really important.
Yes.
Because you know what? Our husbands can't do everything.
No.
We need our girlfriends.
Yes,
Oh,
we
for
do.
sure.
Which, by the way, we receive so many personal DMs also
Yes.
from people checking in on us. People
Yes.
that haven't even met us yet.
Yes.
But they watch our podcast.
You want to
and-
hear something?
And
So
it's been
many
so beautiful.
messages.
Thank
I
you all.
had
Thank you.
comadritas offer me their home. And that touched me
Wow.
because una cosa es que tu una prima, una amiga, like you girls.
Yes.
But for comadritas or listeners from the radio show to offer us their home.
They don't even know us. Some of them
Exactly.
don't
But
even know us.
that's just, I think that if there's anything positive
Los
we can take,
corazones grandes.
if there's anything positive we can take from the tragedies, is still there is humans with a big, huge heart.
Yes.
And now that we're about to enter the month of love, February, even though the time that we're shooting this episode is still it's the last day of January, the 31st.
We hope.
I know.
We are in the mood for sharing love. And when we think of February, people think of Valentine's and love, couples, passion, blah, 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 which is true. But for me, it's taken on a different meaning. Valentine's is just a whole month is sharing love, no matter what. No matter who. And thank you, subscribers and followers, for giving us your love because your words also touched us very much.
Yes.
And matter of fact, doing this,
it did.
has been like the most beautiful distraction during our moments of chaos.
Yeah.
Planning this
Absolutely.
episode and the
Yes.
next
Absolutely.
ones has been a
Yes.
beautiful distraction.
It really has.
agree.
Just
And
looking at everything.
Yeah, and I think going into February, you know, and it is a month, you know, that hopefully we can be a little bit more hopeful. You know, we still have to be vigilant. We're still going to feel all of the feelings that we feel. We're still going to see everything that's happening, but we have to create moments for ourselves. We have to create moments for our kids. We have to create moments with our partners and our friends. To give ourselves grace.
Yes.
Right? And we have to create good moments for our kids, good moments for ourselves. And that's important. So, you know, maybe this Valentine's Day that's coming up, use that time to take a pause, like mental health break, right? Create a beautiful day for yourself, for your kids. You
Your
know,
girlfriends, like
for your girlfriends,
Galentine's
like
Day.
Galentine's.
We've never had a
Would be
Galentine's,
nice.
girls.
We should have a Galentine's.
So we should
Yeah.
definitely plan a Galentine's, but yeah, just to kind of like, we have to start wrapping up this episode. It's been so good. I think that we can all agree that no matter how ugly or painful life gets, life is still beautiful.
Beautiful.
Like the movie, remember?
Yes.
Life is still,
still
beautiful.
beautiful.
Life is still super precious. Every year, every month, every day, every minute, every moment.
It's perspective also.
Totalmente,
Yes.
Coma.
You make it beautiful.
Yeah.
Each and every
Totalmente.
one of you make it beautiful.
What
If
is that?
there's-
What is that saying? It's as whenever there's a crisis or there's tragedy, you know, always look for the helpers
Yeah.
because they come hand in hand, right?
And the way I look at
Yeah.
that is God works through people. And I
Yes.
love what you said, and I
Yes.
love this too.
Yes.
Yeah.
God works through people. Some people say, well, you know, I don't see God. I don't see him anywhere, you know, all these tragedies. No. Look
Yeah.
at the people.
Yeah.
God works through them.
We're instruments.
Exactly.
I feel
All those
that
angels out
he
there. Yeah.
uses us or puts us as instruments to help someone in need when we don't even realize what we're doing. But if there is something that we've learned from this past few weeks,
Yeah.
is that there's a beautiful line that I love from the song Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, "Die with a Smile."
Yes.
Oh, I love that
yes.
song.
The line that I love is nobody's promised tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, and that is absolutely true. Nobody's promised tomorrow. And that is why today
Yes.
we're also celebrating our birthdays coming up.
Yes.
Because our birthdays are literally around the corner, Janet.
Yeah, by
and
the time this
birthday
airs, our
girls.
birthdays have already happened.
Yes.
But as of today, your big birthday is tomorrow.
It's a big number.
big one.
Big one.
Milestone.
And we have to
Oh my gosh.
celebrate.
And you know what's the most beautiful thing about this birthday coming up is that today is literally, I'm sending off the 40s.
are.
I'm sending off the fourth decade with you and you and you and you and everyone watching this scene, but I'm sending it off with you girls. So I'm saying goodbye to the 40s with so much gratitude, with so much love and a little bit of nostalgia. Look, I'm getting emotional. Because man, the 40s were hard. Beautiful, but they were freaking hard. I mean, I went through a roller coaster of emotions, a depression for the pandemic, Black Lives Matter, puberty, girls all of a sudden don't like me anymore, and career changes. I mean, I went through so much. I mean, we're going to dedicate a whole episode to 50s of what that means. You know, okay, now what? 50 y qué? So we'll be talking about that soon, but thank you, girls, Janet, Diana, Mindy, Comadre,
Yes,
for
babe.
being here on my very last day of being 49. Oh my God, I don't know what my gosh.
And looking so good. Looking so
I don't want to mess up my
wonderful.
makeup because we still have another episode to
know.
shoot.
Disappear.
Oh my gosh, the 40s are going away.
Please do that like Molly Shannon. I'm 50 years old with the kick.
With the high kick, baby.
Oye,
With the high
50
kick.
y qué, ¿verdad? Cincuentona
right.
con
Cheers,
mucho
RG.
orgullo.
Sí, sí.
Cincuentona
Cheers.
con mucho orgullo.
RG
Happy
to
50.
another 50.
Yes.
Because you have accomplished so much in these 50 years. You
That's
are
right.
inspiring.
Right.
You have inspired us and all our comadritas watching. I mean, thank you. Thank you to your mom and dad for making you
Yes.
50 something
Cheers to
years
your
ago.
mama. I like
that.
Okay?
Quiero agradecer a mi mamá,
Yes,
a mi
yes,
papá.
yes.
And comadrita, remember this: the best is yet to come.
Yes.
I love
And that
that
is
so
and that
much.
is
That's
true.
right.
I've heard that.
The best
I've heard
is
that
yet
it's
to
like a
come.
freak, like como que vuelves a nacer.
It's
Yeah.
just the best is yet to come. I think every year we've talked about this, right? It's very hard to go back to any age.
Oh, yeah.
You take all of the lessons, you take all of the beautiful memories, and you're just grateful for where you are, for everything that you've accomplished.
And not accomplished
bring-
for a reason.
Because you are about
There's
to
more to-
accomplish
more
it.
to
Because
accomplish.
if you really
Yeah.
think about it, you're halfway.
Yeah.
This is called midlife, right?
Yes.
Talk to me. I'm there already. I'm past the 50.
We need to talk in that episode. 50 y qué.
I'm telling you, there's so much more in store for you. And I'm so excited because you've taken this journey on, this new endeavor. And I have so much hope. And I know that a lot of your dreams are going to come true.
Well, no les miento, but a lot of my dreams have already come true. They have. So
You got
I'm
new
like,
dreams.
I know.
I got to start writing a new list of new
building
dreams
new
because I
dreams.
can
Wow.
honestly say turning 50, I'm telling you, we're going to do an episode on that, but I cannot ask for more, but just more life, más vida. Just to have
yet
fun.
to come.
I just want all the
I do believe
comadritas
that.
out there to know that if there's someone out there turning 50, don't fear, right?
Thank you.
Let them know,
that's
babe.
true.
Let
Thank
them
you.
know that, hey,
Thank you.
listen, this is, you're entering midlife, and midlife could be beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
But
Look
it's
how
up to
healthy
us.
you are.
It's
Look
up
how
to us to
beautiful
make
you
it
are.
beautiful.
Look at the hair. I know.
Yes.
Oh. Look at the hair.
If 50 looks like this girl, I'm okay getting 44.
exactly.
Mija, 44 for Janet, double digits with the 4. How are you feeling? Let's talk about you, Miss
I feel
Aquarius.
Good, you know, like, listen. Now that we did the episode on perimenopause, I'm like, all right.
A little squeaky, but
No more denials. No more denials. I think there's a little bit of me in there.
Ya cayó.
No, not me.
No, I was like, not at all. And then I went through that and I'm like, I feel
wait,
some of
hold
that.
on.
And then I went ahead and bought like 6 books, right? Because I'm just like, okay, I need to be informed.
Now you're obsessed with the
Now
topic.
I'm
I know,
obsessed
I know.
because I just want to know everything because
Good for
I
you.
don't want to feel it
Yes.
all, right?
Yeah.
I want to be ahead of this. Anyway, so yeah, 44. It feels good.
Yeah.
You know, I love my kids, love my husband. You know, I think love my friends. I have such great friends. You know, we go through moments, right, where we have feeling heavy, but ultimately, and this is what's so important, I think finding the people that you love that love you back is so important. And I just feel loved. I think
Yes.
I feel loved. I now feel safe. And that's what I ask my kids. Do you feel loved? Do you feel safe? And, you know, those 2 things I think are the most important things.
Yes.
And then everything else is extra, right? Like all of our
true.
dreams and
Yeah.
accomplishments and everything that we want to like be hopeful for, like that's all exciting stuff. And I'm looking forward to aging and getting more wisdom and experiencing more things and traveling more
Yes.
and all of that stuff that comes with age.
Wisdom
right?
and wrinkles, baby. That's our
Wisdom
club.
and wrinkles.
Right.
With
That's right.
grace,
You know
with
what?
pride.
We're gonna make this a good year. I
Yes,
know
we
it started
are.
out very rocky.
We wanted to end already? No,
But
we
no.
don't want it to end.
No.
My new year starts
No.
February 1st.
Yes,
so,
my birthday.
Right?
Yes.
I'm telling you
Yes.
right now,
for all of us.
it has not
1st.
started.
And it's
going
what
to
is it? Is
start.
it find your happy, right?
your
And so
happy.
you can feel all those things, but remember to come back and
Yes.
find your happy because that's important.
Perspective.
Well,
Putting things into perspective.
girls, how do you feel about us doing a toast to life and
yeah.
new beginnings?
Yes.
I love it.
New
Love it.
beginnings.
New
Felicidades.
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 Mariana, te quiero un
Felicidades.
chingo. Y a ustedes,
Cheers,
Diana,
girls.
Mindy, comadritas.
Cheers.
Love
It's
you.
been a great first episode of season
Yes.
2. We love you.
happy to
we
be
are
back.
We're
So
back.
happy to
We're
be back.
back. And yeah, de aquí no nos vamos, eh? We have many, many, many amazing episodes coming our way
do.
with guests, with special people,
We do.
surprises, more milestones, and LA. Our
Yes.
city, our beautiful city of LA.
We love LA.
We love LA and we're
We love
coming back
LA.
stronger than ever because we rise up.
yes.
Yes.
We rise up
We rise
together.
up.
LA strong.
That's right.
right.
Woo!
Salud. Hasta la siguiente.
Woo! Cincuentona in the house.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. We'd love to see your reviews and hear your thoughts. You can also follow Comadres Unfiltered on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook for more updates. New episodes every Tuesday. Until next time, comadritas.